I was trying to think of a daylight savings joke, but I had nothing to fall back on. My name is Victor Ashley at Skyline Properties. You could reach me directly at 425-559-4590. I'm a real estate agent out of Seattle, Washington. Thank you again for liking, subscribing. And if you'd like, you can also share this content with your friends. It might be important to them and it might be important to you as well. So I want to say thank you. I just got off the phone actually with somebody that had reached out to me. He saw the video and he had a couple of questions about actually moving into the Seattle zone. So I just really appreciate you spending that time with me. And I'm glad I can help you figure out if this was going to work for you or not. And then again, if you guys have a particular question like that person just did, feel free, get a hold of me, leave me a comment, click subscribe. That's actually how I base a lot of my content on this is it's very user friendly. I think it is. And I'm trying to make this as personal as possible. So if you have something that kind of works, something that's bothering you, you're too afraid to ask, you can ask a random guy on YouTube if you like. And just so you know, I also want to celebrate because today I just closed my 11th transaction. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm going to go and have dinner with those clients later this evening. So just again, I want to say thank you for trusting me and look forward to working with you and earning your business. So let's go into more review because that might be what you're actually wanting to watch. So Lynnwood, if you don't know, I track 4 zip codes inside of Lynnwood. I track the 98036, 37, 43, and 87. As well as I track 2 zip codes inside of Seattle proper, that is the Crown Hill and the Queen Anne area. So if you missed my zip code rundown, I'm going to, obviously it's in my description below, but I wanted to give you a quick overview of what I actually do. So I actually look at these zip codes every single day, and I, just give you my my best analysis that I can of it, and I try to do this daily. So let's get into the 98087, and we'll give you an idea of what we're actually looking at today. So moving into it. So this is something that somebody asked me. They were like, "Hey, Victor, where exactly is this zip code?" Well, on a general idea, it is roughly up there. But let's get a little closer. So here's Seattle proper. And then right about here is where the Space Needle is, right about here. So this zip code is actually about 15, maybe 16 miles north of Seattle in a little suburb called Lynnwood. Now, Lynnwood area, it's not exactly a suburb anymore. It's actually a little more urban. But what is going on, it is right in between Mill Creek as well as the Everett area. And it's also close to both Bellevue and Kirkland, as well as Seattle downtown. So a lot of people like to live in this area because it's also close to the Boeing plant. And if you don't know that, Seattle, before it became a tech city, it used to be, it's the birthplace of the Boeing company. So I just wanted to give a quick rundown on that for you aviation nerds like me. I actually grew up in aviation, so I love that kind of thing. Okay, so let's actually go into this a little bit. So I went in and I scraped all the data right here. This is in the MLS. I put all of that into my aggregator here today. And what I came out with is the average house that's available for purchase that is under $1 million on this area. There's about 33 of them that are available right now, and the average looks like a $721,000 house that's been on the market for 47 days, a little over 3 beds, 2.5 bath, and it's 1773 square feet, so just under 1,800 square feet. So I was talking to somebody else that called me yesterday, and thank you again. I love the feedback that I'm getting from these videos. But I had somebody that called me from California, and he's another real estate agent. He's like, "Hey, this is great numbers, but what's that mean to the people that are actually watching it?" So what the 721 is, that's your house that you can buy. That's the average house that you can actually afford in this area if you're looking for a house in that area. Now, that's the available to buy. That's not what you can afford. but I want to just give you an idea of what the average house that is available on the market that is under $1 million that's available to buy. So let's get into what you need to do to actually afford that house. Okay, so I kind of worked the numbers backwards. So we put our purchase budget, and I just did it just a little bit above. But if you had a household income of $210,000 a year for 1, 2, or even 3 people in that household, and you have a low monthly debt range and a down payment of at least $60,000 with today's interest rates roughly being at 7.3 on a 30-year fix, that would bring you inside the purchase budget to actually buy a house of that size. Then at the same time, your monthly rate is going to be at least $4,600 and $4,660 a month, just so you have an idea on that. This is only for your principal and your interest. This does not include any kind of taxes, any insurance, or also any HOAs or special assessments. Those go additional on top of that. So you'd be looking at least $4,700 to actually buy this house. But one thing that I incorporated, because I just did the rent series right here, I just did a series on rent, and what I came up with in the Lynnwood area for rents is $1.73 per square foot per month is what it comes out to in the Lynnwood area for rent. So when we take that same size house that we just theoretically talked about buying, and let's say, hey, Victor, I can't afford that right now, let me just rent a house instead. What that is actually going to come out to just on today's rents in this market is just going to be a little under $3,100 a month. So when you take the $3,100 to rent and you take the $4,700 to buy and you put those together, it's about 152% more to actually buy in the Lynnwood area, in this zip code in particular. If you looked at any of my other 2 videos that I just did, and they should be linked right there, what you'll see is those videos. In those videos, I had a rent range doubling at one point and 1.5 times. So just so you get an idea, to actually buy a house in this area is about 1.5 times more to almost 2 times more, just so you have an idea. But again, this is 152 in this zip code in particular. So let's actually kind of get into this a little bit, because I already talked about what you can buy, what is available to buy, and what is available to rent, and the price range between the two. But one thing that I want to also talk about is what is the average that people actually buy in that area. So this is kind of interesting too, because according to the Census Bureau, in that zip code in 2021, the average capita, so the average household per capita, only made $91,000 a year. Now let's actually go into that in our purchase budget. $91,000, still quite a bit above the poverty line. And if you get into a down payment of $25,000, as well as using an FHA loan, you can only be buying a house that is roughly $306,000. So now you see the change between what's available to purchase, what's available to buy by the average person in that area. It's quite a bit different. So I didn't want to get too in particular about that, but I want to give you an idea of what is actually being available to what is available to purchase, as well as what is the average capita can actually afford. So more than likely, if you're in that range, if you're making $91,000 a year and you live inside of the Lynnwood zone, you're more than likely renting. If you're going to be purchasing, you're going to be purchasing in a different zip code. So let's get into the reviews real quick, because I wanted to go through it, and then we'll just call it a day because it's been pretty busy today so far. But let's go into the reviews. So here's our average square foot is $412 a square foot. Now, what I also do, and I didn't talk about this earlier, but I take all the available listings and I divide them by how much it costs to buy them, divided by the square foot, and I get a price per square foot breakdown. So then I rank them highest to lowest or lowest to highest, depending on how I want to look at it that day. And it came out with an average of 412. So what this means is to buy something that's approximately in a market zone and it's not below market and above market, and you want a good deal. So let's actually take a look at one that just came on the market today, and that's number 8. And again, I want to thank you for making it this far into the video. I know that these videos seem a little long and they're a little dry. I'm trying to, make them as entertaining as possible. But we're just talking about, money and houses. So I'd love to, work with you on this. So this one came on today. It just came on. It's a little over 1,600 square feet, 4 beds, 2.5 baths. And it came out with a listing price of $645,000. Now it qualifies for a cash out as well as it qualifies for cash out, conventional, FHA, and VA. And our price per square foot came out to $395 a square foot. Okay, so let's actually go into the house itself and we'll take a look. So pretty good size house. Let's take a look at it. I looked at this one a little earlier today for a client of mine, and this was built actually in 2008. I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of it. It's slightly upkept, has a couple of different walls with different color paint on it. Again, paint is the easiest thing to replace in the house, and the flooring's actually been, it's in a little bit of a need an update. But from what I can also tell, there is some area that has a wood plank. But here in the kitchen, this is something that we see in the 2000s and late 90s. You see a lot of light woods, laminate countertops, and black appliances. So yeah, this is an easy one to do any kind of kitchen remodel. And I haven't talked about a kitchen remodel in a while, but kitchens are going to run you between $5,000 and $7,000 depending on your bid and what you're actually trying to do. So cabinets are also expensive. We have looks like we have some sort of HVAC system in here. And then I just wanted to go through that. Looks like a pretty decent house. This is definitely something that I'd recommend based on the price point as well as the size of the house. So let's take a look at one that is just below that, but it's actually been on the market now for 6 months. That's quite a bit different, and let's try to figure out why. And again, I'm trying to give this as the best example possible. I'm not trying to give you a buy or sell recommendation. I'm just trying to give you a daily review of what's available in the market and approximately what is market. So if any of this makes sense and you have any more questions on it, just reach out to me directly. Please leave me a comment below. And I really appreciate working with you guys. And I really want to again say thank you to those of you that reached out to me yesterday. It was so surprising and so humbling. Because I'm out here just making these videos and I wasn't sure anybody was watching them. So thank you very much for reaching out to me. So, okay, so 3 beds, 2.5 bath, 2,000 square feet. It was originally $880,000, and now they took, it looks like 85,000 bucks off, and it's been on the market for almost 6 months. Let's get into the history just a little bit. I think this might have been on the market for a little more. Yeah, it looks like it was. So this was originally on the market. It's been kind of bouncing back and forth for a little bit, and it's kind of interesting. But this one was bought. Oh, it looks like this was a whole size here. Let me see. This is interesting. Okay. So this one was originally on the market for $880,000, and then they have been continually chasing the market down. And when I talked about this a couple of days ago, and I didn't want to get too specific about it, but when you chase the market down, what that means is you're not making any kind of sizable change to your price that would attract new buyers. So when people come on and they take a look at the house in this area, you're only going to get your majority of traffic in your first 2 or 3 weeks. Now, for every week after that, you're going to either get return traffic or people that are new to the market. So when we're talking about chasing the market down, If you don't reduce it far enough, you're not going to attract the people that have already been in your house. So as you can tell, they've only changed the price by, they started at 880, they went down 10,000, and then they went down 70,000, which should have been enough to attract some people, but also that was right the same week as Thanksgiving. So it was an inopportune time for that. And then actually what happened most recently is at the end of February, they only took $5,000 off of their listing, and then it expired. And then a week later, it came back onto the market. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick rundown of that because, again, I don't want to get too in particular about these. Sorry, I say in particular a lot instead. But I just wanted to actually go into some of the things that actually do happen in this market so everyone's aware. Okay, so this is a 2-car garage side by side. So this is something that you're going to notice a lot in the newer construction. But like I said, this is a very nicely well-kept house. Let's see, and it was built. Oh, that's why, because it's brand new. It just came onto the market just a couple of months ago. It came on in. It looks like it came on back in September. So yeah, it's been on the market for a bit, and this is a builder. This is one of the things that you're going to start seeing is the builders now. They have a lot of houses that are on the market, and they are going to start reducing their costs to the point that it's under the existing houses. So you have new houses competing with old houses. The new houses are more than likely going to win because they're going to have the most upgrades. They're going to look the nicest, and then at the same time too, they may have a warranty, and they're going to have less that might be damaged or have any issues. So as you can tell, this is a brand new house. There's very little that's wrong with it. You see right here, there's actually a strip of blue tape that's in this photo. A builder is going to go through, and they're going to actually take a look at any kind of defect, and they're going to mark it with blue tape. And then another group is going to come through, and they're going to fix everything that has a blue tape mark on it. I talked to one builder years ago, and he said he still has nightmares about blue tape. Okay, and let's take a look at the last one here. And I didn't want to get too into it, but let's actually look at a condo that might be a little bit on the more affordable side. So let's look at number 4, and then we're just going to call it for today. So, and again, thank you very much for reaching out to me and actually following my channel. I do these daily, and I hope that this actually makes sense to you. And I try not to ramble too much, but again, it's just me talking about this and not necessarily going through a script. Okay, so this is $406 a square foot. It was built in 2018. And let's actually get into the house a little bit. So this is a 2-bed, 2.5 bath townhouse, and it's 1,400 square feet, and it's been on the market only for today, and it's priced at $570,000. Again, this is at 406, and that is exactly where our market average is today. So again, this is an example of the new construction that's coming on in the area that is undercutting the existing stuff, the existing houses into market. And as you can tell, there's just a lot that this unit has to offer. And then if you don't end up buying this one, more than likely you can also buy the one next door. Because again, it's the new construction or a newly constructed house. This was built literally 5 years ago. And this is going to be quote unquote an existing house, but it's still competing almost on a new construction basis. Okay, so kind of in conclusion, I just wanted to talk about it again. But what I'm seeing in the market right now, price-wise, our price per square foot is roughly staying the same as last week. But what I'm still seeing is new construction or newer construction houses or any kind of house that is upkept better coming onto market and undercutting the existing inventory. Because of that, it's going to be an issue and possible race to the bottom. Now, here's the thing with timing in the market. No one can do it perfectly. And again, this is not a buy or sell recommendation, and I'm not your real estate agent, but you can definitely hire me and I can be your real estate agent. You can reach me directly at 425-559-4590, and I would love to speak with you. And again, It was a pleasure working with you today, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.